All right, our people, now welcome back again. Like I tell you now, before we go collect our coffee just now, say we don't get our better person inside studio in one renowned legal practitioner where we know. So because of wetin happen recently, now make we carry this oga come on top department, we come touch light on the legality and the constitutionality of that precision shot where they say President Tinubu order where foil, the coup attempt for Benin Republic. How that shot could take affect us as Nigerians, affect our relationship with other African countries, especially the Sahel countries. The alliance of Sahel countries, where we say most of those countries now military, now they run things for there, and how this move will still also take effect both our diplomatic relationship and our trade relationship with other African countries, which now they will come take the look Nigerians for other African countries. Now that one I say make we look into. That's why we carry this oga lawyer come inside our studio today. Make una not get am twisted. We get barrister AKINWUNMI BELLO inside our studio. Am I permitted to call you my learned colleague?
You are permitted.
I put it to you. Now so now go dey put out to people up and down.
If we don't put out, how you go know? We have to put it so that you can know.
The knowing is in the putting.
That is why we are called the learned men.
The learned men of the bar.
We have to put it to you so that you will know.
Thank you, bros. Thank you so much. We know say you dey very busy. We don't want to take your time too much. The first thing where I want make you help us touch light on now wetin happen recently. They tag that other precision shot because they say now that shot so now foil that coup attempt for Republic of Benin, for West Africa. Now I want to ask, how legitimate is that order? One, how constitutionally legal is that order? Does it go in line with our constitution? Because many people don't talk so many things about that order. No, is this, is that, is that. As a lawyer, now I want you to put us through. Is it constitutional what the president did, and how much of the constitution that backs his actions?
The nation, Nigeria, is generally and worldwide recognized as the mother of the West African nations.
Okay.
When matters arises in West Africa, East Africa, and other parts of Africa, Nigeria is always looked up to. And looking at what happened in Benin Republic, it's an unconstitutional act itself. The coup d'etat is an action to cause unrest and hijack of power in a democratic nation with a democratically elected president. The actions of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I will emphasize, is an highly constitutional action, because it is not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who took this action. It is the Ecowas.
Okay.
The action was initiated and instructed by the Security Council of the Ecowas.
Okay.
It's more or less like an ECOMOG project or an ECOMOG strike. An ECOMOG strike is the security citadel of security affairs of West African nations in the Ecowas. It's a joint effort, and when people are bashing President Tinubu, they should always realize that that action is not an action by President Tinubu himself. Is only acting in the interest of the West African states. Benin Republic is our neighbor, and Nigeria is the closest to take orders on behalf of ECOWAS. Yes, we might be angry with President Tinubu with the insecurity going on in the country, But you know, when it comes to international diplomacy, you have to even act more proactively than when you are left to take decisions. Because if not for the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there would have been serious chaos, unrest, and even loss of so many citizens. Thank God that he was able to nip it in the bud and step in to like what they termed it on the national dailies. They said it was a peaceful resolution. Okay. That peaceful resolution came as a result of that immediate action from the Nigerian Air Force, who immediately stepped into the space of Benin Republic, giving panic to the coup plotters.
Fine. Why? What we are concerned about is the process and the procedures that is perceived that President Tinubu should follow constitutionally that he violated. Are you getting me? I don't know if I should use the word violated, because that is the public outcry that Tinubu was supposed to seek approval from the National Assembly before that action is carried out. They said he did not do that, that he just gave an order for an action to be carried out with Nigerian military, and most of those weapons that they are using, don't forget, is being funded by the taxpayers' money. You understand that?
Not Nigerian taxpayers' money.
Okay, but it's been funded. If not, but our
it's an intervention. Yes,
our monies are there.
Nigerian military were used.
Okay,
but the funding for that action is coming directly from the Ecowas.
So they are going to refund Nigeria for that missile.
There's an international diplomacy to that process. And going by your question, asking whether President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have gone through process. Yeah. Now, the first thing you should know is that a coup is an unconstitutional act. Is a rebel action against the government. And the only aim of a coup is forceful hijack, which in itself is an unconstitutional right. And it is against the provisions of the UN, is against the provisions of Ecowas. And remember, the Ecowas is an organization that is set up by treaties, which controls the diplomacy of all the nations that are tied to it. In a layman's language, it means oath of allegiance by all the countries under the Ecowas. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not need the Senate or the National Assembly to approve an order. There's something we call an emergency session of the Ecowas Security Council. Okay. Which, as at the period the coup was going on, an emergency security meeting was called via virtual, virtual means, where parties that are, that have core power with the security affairs of West African nations have taken their decisions. They don't need to come to the cameras. They don't need to inform the Nigerian National Assembly. It is what we call an intervention action. It has to be done within a time limit so that it doesn't go out of hand. And the UN is particular about restoration of democratic, democratic rule of nations that are democratic. Like you said when you were giving your introduction, the Sahel nations, they are growing, and it's matters of concern to the UN. It's a matter of concern to ECOWAS themselves, that nations are being hijacked by military rulers, and military rule suffices. No matter how we try to sugarcoat it, the military rule is the military rule. Once it is not democratic, it is not democratic, which is against the UN policy to global peace control.
Fine. Let's bring this back to our client here in Nigeria. For over, if I'm not exaggerating, 15 years now or more, Nigeria has been battling insurgency. We have been faced with a high insecurity level. bandits are having a field day in Nigeria. Today they kidnap in dozens, tomorrow they kidnap in hundreds of 300s or 400s. You understand what I'm trying to say? Go into communities and kill people anyhow. Now, this one happened in Benin, and Nigeria took a precise shot. You understand? And quelled and foiled that coup. Why are they not taking this same kind of precise shots, against the bandits in our environment here that have made life miserable for most people in the north?
Well, truth be told, the Nigerian policy and politics have been against the precise control of banditry in Nigeria. I think at this stage we don't need to hide we don't need to mince words or hide our mouth when we speak that there is a funding from both the international community and even within the citadel of power in Nigeria, because these bandits, they are not well trained. According to logistics, they are a bunch of illiterates who are being trained by militia rebels to perpetrate unrest in the nation. Our military, according to ranking, is one of the strongest.
Definitely.
Foot soldiers.
Definitely.
Even globally.
Yeah.
Even globally, they are recognized.
That's basic.
So I am not one of those that will say our military is not capable. Our presidency, without mincing words, cannot come out to tell us that they are unaware that there are certain unscrupulous elements who are profiteering from this banditry. So left to me, in my own personal opinion, there is an intel within the government and even within the international community. Because if the Nigerian...
Do you know these people? And
well, we cannot give an explicit identification. And that is why, even if our government don't know anything about it, keeping quiet and being complacent is enough to say they are also involved.
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, and with the prolific writings on this insurgency, insecurity going on in the northeast, now coming to the southwest.
Basic.
Is definitely run by certain people who have found themselves to be friends of those sitting in the seat of powers, profiteering from these unscrupulous and illegal actions. So in my own little mind, I don't want to go too legalese, and I don't want to be premium about my statements. I will just say the government knows what to do, and they know what to do best. If they can't take this action in Benin, imagine what they would have done to these insurgents. So definitely, there is a complacent attitude. There is a body language of they are our people in the government. If not, they would have dealt with them. I remember about 4 weeks ago when Donald Trump raised hell to come into Nigeria. You can see after some weeks, the body language of even Donald Trump went, very cold. You should know that there is a dark world international diplomacy that has taken over all of this. That even when those who are capable want to take actions, they themselves they find themselves locked into the negativity of this action.
So what is their gain? You understand, in all this, and where do you think this is going to lead Nigeria to?
Let me start from the international community. We must not shy away from the fact that Nigeria is a powerful nation. Nigeria is a rich nation. And there's no other words to put it than to say that for the international community, definitely they are getting something from this rich nation that is making them complacent, that is making them, non-aggravative to all the abnormalities going on in the country. definitely they are reaping from it. For the Nigerian-based profiteers, I would say that it is just a principle of divide and rule. This insurgency is making some people powerful. It's giving relevance to certain, certain cadre of people in the community. If we look deeply into it, there are some people that are getting relevance. And that is where the characterization of the likes of Gumi
comes in,
which is the policy of negotiation. The truth is that all over the world, the first approach to insurgency is negotiation. And that is what usually opens the door for profiteers.
Profiteers, yes.
Once the government has sat down to say, okay, let us negotiate. Negotiations are not done empty-handed. You cannot put nothing on something. It has to be something on something.
Quickly, let's just talk about something, briefly before we go on a very short break. How is that precision shot? What position is it leaving our relationship with other African countries, especially the Sahel countries? You see what happened few days ago, where they seized a Nigerian Air Force plane.
Yes.
You understand? And then later Nigerian came up with their own part of the that the plane developed some faults and they had to make an emergency landing. You understand what I'm trying to say? But the initial story was that plane was seized because the plane was flying Burkina Faso's airspace without approval.
It was landing
without approval. So we have that. Then shortly after that, we saw Niger. Niger also is now putting some kind of certain check on Nigerian goods and products. You understand? Certain controls restricting, the entry of Nigerian goods and products into their countries. So, and I'm sure this is not unconnected with the fact that President Tinubu, contributed immensely in foiling, that coup in Benin Republic. So what position do you think that action is going to leave Nigeria's relationship with other countries, especially the Sahel countries, diplomatically and trade?
I don't think it's going to affect Nigeria in any way.
Okay.
I in my own best opinion, I don't think it's going to affect Nigeria because Nigeria actually did the right thing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did the right thing. There was an unconstitutional act of hijack of power, and which has always been, the chain of events in all the Sahel nations.
But if you look at these Sahel nations, it's like their country people welcome these moves.
Well, it's so pathetic that the citizens are parties to this, forgetting the fact that this is 2025. If you are tired of your president, that is why there's an open door to democracy. There could be peaceful protests. There could be a lot of measures taken. There could be, appointment of certain opposition leaders who could cry out to the international community. Engineering and inciting the military to come and hijack power is unconstitutional. So, talking about the trade union, I think trade unions they are open pages that are foundational upon treaties.
Okay.
And as long as we're Africans, there's a treaty between, that is why they call it the Ecowas. It is the economic, the Ecowas was created to look into the economic relationship of all the nations within these zones. So I don't think it's going to affect. The issue of Niger came as a result of the fact that certain products are coming into their nations that are substandard.
Made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria. Each time these products are shipping to these countries, they fail the test of standard productions. So we cannot say that they should not take charge of their nations because an incident happened.
So it's not connected to...
I will say it's not connected. If at all, even if it is connected in any way, it's failed on arrival because the truth is that there's no nation in Africa that does not need Nigeria. Nigeria is like a peddling line that wires the economic growth and and life of Africa.
Nigeria is a nation that is needed by
all African nations.
Countries. We are going to take a short break on that. When we come back, we will now go into the rising case of coup in Africa. What is precipitating this? What is causing, coup, people to be going into coup in Africa, especially in West Africa? Make una no go anywhere when they come back.